Welcome again, guys. Oh my word, I am so excited. We are in this beautiful venue in a lovely restaurant in Randburg called Cataplana. It was a tricky word to learn, but hey, we got it right. And what makes me even more excited is these two amazing souls next to me. We've got our Lynette Olivier. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Miss X.
Oh
How
my
are you?
word! I'm alive and well and kicking. It's been a while,
It's been a
we
while.
haven't caught up in some
Yeah.
time.
No, I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you very much. I'm super
It's always
excited.
amazing. It's always amazing. And we've got Rick, our resident. I don't know what to call you.
No, I'm so glad to be here and I can't wait. I'm so fascinated. I mean, you've got Lynette here,
Yeah.
great in her sphere, and you've got you, great presenter.
Thank you so
And I
much,
can't
my
wait.
man. Thank you so much. Guys, we've got a jam-packed session today, and we're going to be touching on subjects all around the bedroom. Yes, I said that. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a glitch. I said the bedroom. But we are looking at it from a focus of within a relationship structure, within marriage, what is it that we don't really taboo-wise talk about? What may be a challenge? And this is why Lynette is here today as a sexologist. She will tell you more about her field and her career to just give us more insights. And you, as usual, Rick will give us that marriage piece, but with a touch of the spice in the bedroom as well.
Oh, yeah.
So right into it, Lynette, tell us about you. What do you do? Who are you?
Right. Not intimidating at all.
I'm sorry.
So I'm a sexologist and I focus on individuals, couples, trauma. So my therapy is very much trauma informed, and I suppose eliminating shame around sexuality, whether it is your sexual orientation, your sexual desires, wants, needs, and how you can live out a life with energy, with lust, with eroticism, with to be alive to your life. And
I like that.
Yeah.
Alive to your life.
Alive to your life.
And how many of us actually just look at sexuality or even the field of sexology as, yeah, it's sex, it's naughty. But you look at it as a profession where you help people.
And it's integrated. So what's quite interesting in a culture like South Africa is that we have life and then we have sex on the one side and we've got a job at the other side. And so we don't see it as an integrated model. But when we look at a relationship, for instance, it's part and partial. It's incredibly important to your
And a very big
energy.
part.
It is.
A very big part.
It is. We can suppress it, but you will see that suppression come through in your energy that you bring to life, and it's like amputating a leg.
Oh my word. Oh,
So-
that analogy is deep and it's
Yeah.
so true though.
It
Because
is.
without that intimacy, without that sexual connection with your partner, what else do you have besides the day-to-day there, I love you, I let's go out, let's have dinner, but where's the intimacy? Where's the connection?
But Mr. X, if we also look at it in terms of, but where's my connection to myself? So
Yeah.
if I suppress my own sexuality, fundamentally I'm suppressing something within myself before I suppress it with us.
Oh, yeah, true.
Very
Nice,
true.
nice.
Very true. Come in there for me. Come in there for a minute.
You know what Lynette is saying carries a lot of substance because I say marriage is 60% sexuality. You know, we are designed with all these emotions, body parts, and we're designed with all this passion, and it has to be explored somewhere. And most people don't know how to explore it within the confines of its category.
Yeah.
And if we don't necessarily get our society, educated, there's what I call sexual intelligence. The ability to understand sex properly. We
That's
learn.
that's a very powerful word, guys. I'm gonna quote this.
Yeah.
We have EQ, emotional intelligence. Now we've got SQ.
Yeah.
Sexual intelligence.
Yes.
Wow.
You need to understand its field very well. We learn how to propose. We learn how to work. We learn how to cook. We learn how to. But the field of the bedroom is an unlearned world, and I think the ignorance of our society has brought us to this demise where sexuality now is more of a performance, but not necessarily a spiritual, emotional, mental, driven substance. And this is where most relationships are losing, to actually be honest. And if we solve this predicament that we find ourselves in as a society with people like Lynette, we can actually build powerful marriages where couples are connected for life or till death do them apart. But now we don't have that because ignorance becomes a go-to for many people. I know how to do it, and literally sex is not by osmosis. You can forget, you need to learn this particular area.
You know, when you say, I know how to do it, I'm reminded, it's just as gents, even growing up, we have this thing with, nah, I'm blind, I'm good at this. Buzalo, ask this girl, ask that girl. But subconsciously, the older you get, you start thinking, am I really that good? This is why your profession exists.
But don't you think also that if, especially for boys growing up, they see one another's penises, and so there's already a lot of shaming. They do. And so already there's a bit of a shaming element and a comparison, and you ought to be good at this even though you've never done this.
Wow.
But so now I'm going to hide that I actually feel inadequate, and I'm going to live with that silent inadequacy or fear of inadequacy within me.
Especially if someone has said, mine's bigger than yours, type of thing.
Exactly. You know, the fight of who has the biggest this and biggest penis and so forth, it's a fight, that's born from a place of a mental struggle, if I was to put it that way. We live in a society that thrives on shaming and that thrives on negativity. And people don't understand these body parts very well. I always, when I speak to some men and they come and they say, you know what, I feel I'm small down there. And I'll say, look, man, there are people who are growers, and I throw it out there just like that.
You just put it out there like that. Yeah, just put it out
there. And I say, because sometimes as men, we need to be proud of what we are created with. And women as well need to be proud of what they are created with. And that's why also women come in with the fact of, I've got a bigger chest or a bigger breast, and this one has smaller breast, but you find some even with buttocks and all these things. And we start to live a life of comparison and competition in the area of the bedroom. But sex is actually a script of the mind and the emotions. That's where it starts. If we run sex from a place of body parts, we miss the bigger part of it. It starts from a script of the mind. And that's why most people can't get the full extent of what it can and capable of. I mean, some people get 3 orgasms, man, straight up. Just like that. Because they are connected. You understand?
And it's the connection.
And they're connected mentally. The script is pure. It's legit. Like Lynette is saying, that shame, we need to subside from it.
And you know what? I'm so glad I have both of you here, because what you're saying connects so much to, your field, the sexology part, and understanding that mentally you need to be able to feel okay in order to make someone else feel okay, even sexually. And on the comparison part, that's really powerful. But now what I also want to ask both of you is, what are some of the challenges you've come across within your space and people you've, taken through therapy? And what did that look like? And what are some of the stories they had to share with you?
Yeah, for sure. There's 2 things that comes to mind immediately. And the one is my own inability to connect to myself. And the other one is I don't actually know how to communicate with my partner. And one of the things around I don't know how to communicate with my partner is I don't want to make my partner feel bad. And so I'm trying to protect them from my sexual wants, needs, desires, because I don't want them to feel bad. And the other thing is I actually don't know what I want from females.
Wow.
With men, it's slightly different, or what I've observed is definitely different. And I think Rick can come in there. And with men, oftentimes I find it's as though they have difficulty to communicate with their wives what they want. And so they find it's easier to go somewhere else and go and have the fun somewhere else. And it's without expectations, without all of the hard work, it's without all of this.
So you're like finding someone who's ready made to explore certain things
Yeah.
other than speaking to your
Yeah.
partner or your wife and saying, babe, I like it like this. Can we try this? This makes me happier.
It so depends on that relationship, because if you and I are intimately connected, then sex isn't such a battle to communicate over.
It's not a chore.
But if I battle to communicate with you around sex, then I'm wondering how much vulnerability is there in this relationship? Is this a functional relationship? Is this a performance-based relationship? What exactly is this? So it shows to more things in that relationship.
Yeah.
And she drives a very good narrative there, because, you know, when she says that we need to communicate. Now, what I've seen in my field is that couples struggle to transmit information that is vital to the existence of their relationship.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the area of marriages, we know how to communicate responsibilities and chores.
Yeah.
But when we come to areas that combat vulnerability, sexuality, these areas, you find that people don't know how to transmit the information.
Especially us as men.
Exactly. And so yes, some men do end up going outside trying to look for that particular fun that they've been desiring from their wives. However, if they come to a place where they learn to make it a safe environment. Remember, women thrive in safety.
Yeah.
They don't thrive in just, just do 1, 2, 3, 4. However, men thrive in acknowledgement. So if there's a sense of acknowledgement.
Can I pause you and quote you on that? Women thrive in safety and men thrive in
acknowledgement. Yes.
Powerful, guys.
So that's why when you listen to what Lynette is saying, which resonates so well, is the fact that there are some people who have performance-based sexual relationship. And there are some people who have a communication-based, the list goes on. So we need to look at the purpose of what you see your sexuality as. Otherwise, if that language of purpose does not come in, you will just come home as a husband. Your wife must all of a sudden just be ready. You understand? And that builds a problem when it comes to the area of sexuality. Here's a case that I dealt with some time ago. The husband could no longer in himself look at the wife and erect. He just couldn't. But when he went outside in his field of playing around.
He didn't want beef anymore. He was enjoying the chicken.
He went outside, exactly. And he would erect.
Wow.
So they booked a counseling session and they came and she's like, I know my husband is cheating. There's no way he can.
That's always the go-to,
Exactly. And so when I spoke to him, I said, ma'am, can you allow can you just excuse us for a moment? And I said to him, what's wrong? You're speaking to a male individual. I'm a male individual. How come you can't? Yeah, I made it safer. How come you can't erect when your wife? And then he started. She lost the physical attraction in terms of the look. She does not speak to me with respect. So then when I called her back in, I said, ma'am, you're not the problem. The problem is that you don't have a foundation, both of you.
Wow.
On how to actually build the area of sexuality. So now you are looking at each other as the conflict. But the conflict is the lack of knowledge in the area of sexuality, which now presents itself as one with the flaw. And then they came together and they said, so what must we do? I said, no, you need to go to a sexologist. You need to learn.
Find Lynette.
Yes.
Exactly. You need to learn what this world is about. Because first of all, you just got into it without the education, without the background. Would you hire a cleaner that doesn't know how to clean? No. Would you hire an engineer to build your house that doesn't have the background? No. Then how do you enter that field without the expertise in order to thrive in that environment? Go get some education. Learn to explore the woman's body to its fullness. Understand, the breasts. Understand the buttocks, the vagina. Go understand the penis. Understand all these vital organs, how they operate, how they thrive, how to get them stimulated. Because before you stimulate physically, you must stimulate the mind. And this is where the conversation that Lynette was bringing as well. You have to have that mental focus in terms of what you want to build. Your wife is not a prostitute. That's one thing men need to understand. Your wife is not a prostitute. This is a dignified woman that is
Your
a
wife
mother of your
is
children.
not a prostitute. Guys, I'm sorry to come in there, Rick. You're just throwing bombs for days. And if I may, Lynette, if I may, just a quick one.
Yeah.
I want you to keep this at the back of your mind after your point. What is it, because you're touching on this and it's weighing on my mind, what is it that South Africa needs to learn when it comes to issues of sexuality? And I'll let you come in and then we can delve into that after your point.
For sure. I think if there's something that especially our country would do well to learn, it is to heal a transgenerational trauma. And something that Rick said, a couple come with a sex concern, which they want to have just in the physical realm, just I'm not having sex with you. But then they state their own problems or concerns around the psychological. We're not connecting. I'm not feeling the respect. I'm not feeling the emotional closeness. I'm not feeling a welcoming home. And then they state all of these things that is emotional, that is relational, that is societal and cultural and religious. And then they state all of the other things. So if we can learn that there is transgenerational trauma and that it is not just it's not just two bodies. It's far more than that. It encompasses far more than that.
Yeah.
I just want to say something, and it's simply because I'm scared that I will forget.
Yeah. That's what I wanted you to start with.
My wife is not a prostitute, not just a prostitute, or not a prostitute, but my husband is more than a provider.
Come on.
Preach, sister. Woo! It's like you are in my mind about a show I heard yesterday that was talking on that point to say, guys, have guys lost the sense of being providers, like biblically? And my mind was like, yeah, because you're not doing your part either. If I provide, what are you doing according to that comparison?
So can we not then go into a different understanding that relationships are different right now?
Of course.
And they'll continue to evolve. And so that view that we had of this is what the male provides and the wife fills this role, that it has evolved. And to not fight that evolution, but to learn how to navigate it, how to interact with it, because you can't hold your husband to this, you ought to provide, and then be happy with your role. To shift. Both roles shift. It's not just one role that shifts.
It's not gender-based roles, basically.
It is evolving into something completely different, and what it will require from us is an openness, a curiosity, and I don't think that we know how to be open and how to be curious.
You know, she's very wise in the statement that she's saying. If we don't learn how society becomes what it is today, we will also not learn how to progress with what it is today.
Or what it will become later.
Exactly. You know, when you speak the English that you speak now, it's not the English that was spoken in the 17th
if
century.
you go back to Latin, wow, that was scary.
Exactly. So it evolves. So it's the same as Lynette's, what she's saying. Women now are working. They get as tired as much as men do. So now the way we look at life now must differ, because this is my greatest belief I carry when I counsel people. The men of today are not taught how to live with a virtuous woman, because they never saw the reality of a virtuous woman.
The men of today are not taught how to live with a virtuous woman.
That's why it's a threat when a woman starts working and she makes $1 million, because you're not taught that. So you shun on it, you frown on it, because you don't have the intellectual ability to deal with the caliber of woman that you are dealing with. And so therefore it destroys even the sexuality, because you feel she's more powerful than you, but she's just an asset as well in the relationship towards what you're building. So virtuous women are different from housewives. Virtuous women are women that literally go to work. They have the capacity to buy property.
You're Lynette.
Exactly. You're Lynette. These are virtuous women. So now imagine if the man comes home and he says that, you know what, I want my plate of food now. She's been working the same 8 hours, 9 hours that you've been working. She's been pushing the same job, office type and so forth that you've been pushing. Now we need to work out a different modus operandi in terms of how we run the household, because now we're in a completely different era from the era that your mother was living in. But you want somebody that looks like your mother, functions like your mother, puts things like your mother, but maybe she was not a virtuous woman in the sense of that capacity. So now you look at sexuality in a very different way. And I think that not understanding the woman we have today and not understanding the roles that men also had to shift to also destroys the emotional intimacy. It destroys the connection. It destroys all those types of things, because you're waiting for a woman wearing, you know, some nice seductive clothing, waiting for you at home with some nice cooked meal.
Lacy and everything. I'm like, yay, baby.
Exactly. And you're thinking, you know what? I'm going home to that. But then she calls you and she says, 9 o'clock, I can't be home. I've got a deadline.
I've got a meeting.
Yes, that I need to finish. And so the man who understands that will be like, you know what? This is great stuff. You go on ahead, girl, and finish that particular work. I'm going to see you tomorrow. I'll make sure that I make some dinner for the kids. We fold up, and then tomorrow is another day.
Wow.
You understand? But you find people fighting over one issue of that simple nature because they don't understand how to move with the times. And that's what she's talking about, evolving with the times. The sex that was done back then and the sex that is being done now is completely different.
Very. You know, trust me, very.
Yeah.
And you know, you're bringing in an element here that pushes my mindset to kind of say, are we then not, it's kind of like, are we condoning feminism in such a way that we need to allow feminists to be stronger but not lose their sense of sexuality as a woman?
Powerful conversation. So we cannot strip a woman from feminism. It's who they are.
And that version of feminism, by the way.
It's who they are. The problem now is that who we are can be out of balance. And that's where we get what we call pro-feminism. We're trying to exclude the necessity
then
of
Dr.
men.
Must generation.
We're trying to exclude the society from men. And that cannot work, because men are a great, strong foundation of what civilization is today. However, a woman being feminine is her role, it's her play. Matter of fact, men love to enjoy sex with a feminine woman. Once she tries to animate masculine energy, the man feels he's got another man.
Why are you tying me up?
So it's around.
I'll pause you on that. I just want to bring Lynette
some men would really enjoy that.
Why are you tying me up?
So you can't uplift one gender at the expense of another. You cannot do that. And so you have to redefine what is sex, what does respect mean in a relationship? What does that look like? And co-creation. And so I like to have a leading question around, what are you looking to achieve? That's so important. You as a couple, what are you looking to achieve?
Purpose.
Because you're thinking that they overlap, not necessarily. And you know, I work with a lot of strong men, I work with a lot of strong women, and when that female goes into her, we can go into a strong role with our femininity intact, and what helps 100%. Us tremendously is a household that supports it, because if you are needing to be this driven woman and then you come home and there's not a lot of support for that role for you, then there's no, to what you said, there's no safety. There's no safety to actually go into that softer role.
Women thrive under feeling safe.
We so badly want to feel safe, and so you'll hear women say, I no longer need my man to provide this and this and this for me, which would be, you know, a home or property, whatever. I actually need him to be there for me emotionally. Okay, most men haven't been raised to be there emotionally for a woman. They were raised to provide. So they actually don't know how to fill that role and how can they hold on to their masculinity and do that.
And create that, it's like they say, men can't multitask.
That's brilliant.
Well, times are evolving, guys. We can, I promise you. But to your point, we've just been conditioned to focus on this provider, be strong, be that male figure, that we haven't learned to let go.
Of course.
Be her safe space. Be vulnerable. Be comfortable for her.
You're right in what you're saying, and supporting what Lynette is also saying. When you look at the world of men are highly emotional beings. However, they don't they don't communicate the emotion.
Yeah.
Men will rather put themselves in a cave and internalize the emotion, and then transmit it through logic. However, the woman is also highly emotional, but also very transparent with her emotion. It's just that the way we've been looking at men, we have not been understanding the full calibration of how their emotions actually function. But they are highly internal thinkers. And thinking comes with emotion.
And it does.
Exactly. But women
Hence there's the term emotional intelligence.
Oh yeah.
If you look at the marriage of the two, you are emotionally smart.
And women think out loud.
So
Sometimes
we wish we didn't, but yeah.
Sometimes we wish we didn't either.
They think out loud and men think internally. But it's still thinking. It's just that because of the makeup of masculinity and the makeup of femininity, the thinking becomes different. So men do think about sex. They do think about how they want their wives to satisfy them. So do women also do it, and they do vocalize it. But when they go to the man gets an irritation.
Like, why are you telling me this?
Exactly my point. And to be honest with you, we have reduced the woman's body to sexuality only. And that's why we also got these dancings online and all these types of things that are happening out there. You see, sex.
The porn industry is thriving.
They make a video every 36 minutes.
Hey, don't take us back there because that was some scary stats.
I'm telling you. And you see, the thing about pornography, that dopamine chemical that sits in the brain at times of enjoyment or laughter, it comes out uncontrollably. And when it does that, because of pornography, you treat sex like a drug. And sex should never be a drug. Sex should be a thing that two people enjoy.
What you always say.
Exactly. It should be a thing that people enjoy to expand their unity. Sex unites. Sex brings happiness. It brings joy. It brings a sense of connection, communication to a higher degree. You're talking nakedness that gives you a certain sense of somebody's energy. That's how deep sex is. But when you come in and you discuss things like sexual trauma, which we now going into that world that is very unhealthy, we're no longer building a society that we have. So reducing a woman's body to just a sexual organ is the biggest problem that South Africa has entered right now. We actually
I think the world at large.
We need to re-educate. Change the packaging of how a woman is thought about, so that we can rebuild the sexuality of South Africa and the world at large.
You're touching on something, and this is me. I'm happy being vulnerable. We were speaking earlier about me recovering from my recent illness and going quite well, I might say. And then I mentioned to you, openly. And because of your field, it was easy to say. Now, at some point, I felt like, when last did I, shoot for the moon?
Oh, yeah.
And you are touching on the mentality. You are touching on feeling safe as a man. But now that I realize that in my recovery, it wasn't physical. It was mental. It was mental to a point where even feeling sexual or wanting or getting aroused was being affected by how I thought of myself, because I had felt the ailment was too much. And everything else switches off, even as a man.
You need to ask yourself, why do men erect in the first place? You understand? And why does a woman lubricate in the first place? These are very important questions because this also helps to the preparation of sex. Because if you understand why a man erects and why a woman lubricates, you will understand the language of foreplay, its necessity, and why it is there in the first place. I have even counseled women that speak about their internals being torn or badly treated because somebody did not understand why lubrication is a necessity. You understand what I'm saying? Same as erection. The woman does not know which buttons to press to actually get him to strike for the moon.
And so then they blame you and say, what's wrong? Little Johnny not waking up?
Because remember, so
Sorry to cut you off there.
No,
you took me straight to it.
let her.
I had to run with that one.
Yeah.
No, 100%. So what women do is they will personalize it.
Yeah.
So how female sexuality sits in my ability to arouse you.
Yes.
And so when I fail to arouse, or when you are not aroused, I am going to think it's me. I'm not pretty
Self-blame.
enough. I'm not interesting enough. I'm not sexy enough. I'm not. And so it's a wound that I know very, very well. The same similar for men of inadequacy. So if the woman goes and she talks to her husband around or she attempts to talk to him around the sexual side, he's going to feel inadequate.
True.
So that's his biggest fear. So she sends him to his biggest fear, and then you see that communication, that imbalance. 100%.
And in society, I've heard this, and I was watching some clips where a woman can wound a man by simply saying, you don't please me enough.
Yeah.
And the inadequacy comes from that with us because we are so competitive. Remember the story earlier around mine is bigger completely
what
size-wise. But
what
now
about-
if you find a woman that says, I'm Ngenzeli Nix, you don't do nothing for me. That is like, oh Lord.
Yeah.
I've lost all sense of being a man.
Of course, but what about women not reaching orgasms? It's a world that we don't speak much about. Matter
We
of fact,
don't actually.
you go online right now, you try to find videos on that, you realize they're quite minimal. And men have not reached a place because men sometimes put sex as it's only for them. But we don't understand that women also have an orgasmic plane that they also should reach as well, so that they can be on that climax zone. And so female orgasms is not spoken enough about. And we need to understand, what does it look like? What does it feel like? What happens to her body when it happens? You know, all these types of things. Because the man will come, reach his orgasm. Normally he's the first. Reach his orgasm, go straight to sleep. And the woman is just left there.
I'm good.
So you're talking about the orgasm gap.
Yes.
So they did these wonderful studies, and I can't remember who did this study, but where men and women, when they masturbate, reach orgasm 90-something% of the time.
Wow.
I think it was 90, equally. So you orgasm, you masturbate, you orgasm 90, 95, I can't remember the exact stats. Same for me, exactly the same. But in partnered heterosexual sex, you're going to orgasm 90% of the time, you're going to remain there, and I'm going to drop to 56% of the time. Okay, why is this? So we can't say this is
Please
just
share with us. Why
men.
is that?
So yes, definitely. It is in partnered heterosexual sex, a lot of men don't know or place importance on the female orgasm. That is a fact. But another thing that I definitely want to bring in there is the female, she gives up on her own orgasm.
Oh, yeah.
And so she doesn't pursue it.
I think it's linked to what you said earlier, though. You as a female are so focused on pleasing the man that you self-sacrifice.
So on the one side, there could be absolutely that self-sacrificing thing, or I've given up. I have communicated, I've given up, nothing's coming from it. It can also, and sometimes it really is, I also don't know my body.
Wow.
So there's a request on this partnership for us to communicate what I like, what works for me, what doesn't work for me, but also fundamentally for me as female to know what works for me, what doesn't work for me. The female orgasm yes, in partner sex, there's some stuff you can do for me that I actually can't reach. I can't reach
course,
it.
of course.
Yeah.
But there is an onus on me too to be able to allow myself, because remember, in an orgasm, my neck arches.
Of course.
I make a sound. I
Of
behave
course.
a certain way. And sometimes women are so closed off
Mm-hmm.
to their own just freedom that even if you did,
Like, oh.
yeah. But okay, so think about
Go for
how
it.
beneficial it would be for a male, or how beneficial it is for a male.
Yeah.
If you bring me to orgasm, what does that do to your ego? What does that do to your sexual confidence?
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean,
It is like, I did it. I did it. I did
you
it.
feel so good, right?
Yeah.
You feel so good. So it's counterproductive how we're engaging with sex, because if you spend the time with me and pay attention to me, then the gift to you
Yeah.
and to who your sense, that masculine sense, is so benefited.
True.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. It's, yeah. You know what? And I want to just touch the benefits of a female orgasm. You know what? You broke it down in such a way that I'm going to process this.
Or you're going into training, one
Oh,
of the two.
yeah, one of the two. I need to learn some more about this, because I can't just be a superhero and say, yeah, I made her come, but
Yeah.
did I do it well?
So the female orgasm, the clitoris is so, it's everywhere on Instagram. It's a clitoris, a clitoris, a clitoris, as there's sites dedicated to this. And there's more to female sexuality than just the clitoris. But interesting, the clitoris is the only organ that is just for pleasure.
Yeah.
And men don't have that. Their penises have more than one function.
Of course.
But the
Yeah.
clitoris has one function. And so that should say something towards the ability of female sexuality. So the importance in terms of masturbation for me, first and foremost, is acceptance of self. So we can go into what hormones are released and all of the feel-good hormones, but essentially I always check for masturbation in terms of, but when you touch yourself as a female, what thoughts are in your head? Whose voices are in your head? Is it an auntie? Is it a granny? Is it a something? I've had females where the girl would come out of a room and a mom would smell her finger to find out whether she's masturbated. There's this thing of females aren't allowed to be connected to their sexuality. And remember, we don't see ourselves when we go to the bathroom. We don't touch ourselves.
True.
So our first introduction
Actually, wow.
should actually be ourselves.
Wow, Lynette, that is so
Yeah.
true. That's a weird thought, but it's true.
It's true.
Females sit down
Yeah.
and never actually have to touch
No.
themselves. We stand up and have to touch
Yeah.
ourselves.
You see yourself, you touch yourself. There's such a healthy relationship with it, where females, it's hidden from view.
Of course.
So firstly, the benefit of masturbation is to interact with your mind and whose voices you're hearing, and that will be your first sexual self-acceptance. That's where we pick up a lot of shame also for females. So the benefits of masturbation is, makes you sleep really great, phenomenal for that, and all of the benefits to that it has to men. Sex today, whether with yourself or with another, promotes sex tomorrow. It really helps to kickstart that engine.
Say that again?
Sex today, what did I say? Sex today
promotes sex tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, that's tricky though, because that means I may want more.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
She's saying
Yeah.
something very unique. And I think when we look at the world of men as well, we need to understand, besides the stimulus of a man,
Yeah.
in Kenya, they had this ritual of damaging the clitoris of a female so that she doesn't get pleasure but stay in a marriage.
Yeah.
So now you're looking at how society on that level was looking at the validity of a woman within the confines of marriage. They
Like
didn't
you're locked down. now.
Exactly. They didn't want her to have pleasure for the sake of just staying married.
Yeah.
And a lot of women went through that in society. So when you explore the world of sex, it's not necessarily a high educational realm for them because they've been subdued in the area of marriage. You just need to stay, you just need to, satisfy the man. So they don't enjoy that world as much as men do because they've not been given the opportunity to thrive in that environment. So when she speaks about the clitoris, which has got over 1,000 nerves, it's designed particularly so that the woman can also have fun within the confines
How many nerves?
over 1,000.
So the whole clitoral structure has around 15,000 nerves.
Yeah, there we
How do
go.
you know that? But let's go to Lynette.
And it is around double what a male has in his penis.
Of course.
But remember, the clitoral structure
Wait
goes
a
like this.
minute.
It's not
So
just that little
basically you're
knob.
saying you guys are more sensitive than us?
Far more.
Sexually?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
are.
Yet have more
Yeah.
control than us.
So look, I wouldn't call it control. I would rather say more shame.
Reserved. Yeah.
I'd rather say more shame.
Okay. That makes
Because
sense.
historically, and I know it's a completely different conversation, but historically, a woman that was awakened to her sexual side was a dangerous thing.
Of course.
How so?
Hence, well,
Well, yeah, she would make a man do anything.
she would make a man do anything. You're looking at methods to it was a societal thing, measures to control society.
Well,
was a
it's not like you guys
protective
don't do it now.
Well, society has changed, and she's very right.
Very right.
When she
though.
speaks about the nerves and even
Yeah.
the shape of the clitoris, some men can't
Yeah.
even find the clitoris. They don't even know
Yeah.
where to start looking.
I've been looking.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting object, to study. That's why most women, when they have sex for the first time, switch off the lights. You understand?
How am I going to find it in the dark?
It would just make it infinitely harder.
Yeah, it's just switch off the lights. You're
Already
like,
it's
but
hard
where-
enough in the daytime.
yeah, where am I going to find, So women are like that. And that's where it comes into that shame factor she's been
Yeah.
talking about. I mean, why are you going to switch off the light? You as a man, you're looking at how beautiful, how authentic, how original the body is. And when you say switch off the light, you're even wondering, like, why in the world would I want to switch off the light?
What's happening down
Because-
there that I can't see?
It is because I can't look at myself that way. I
Oh,
can't
the
look at
insecurity, the
myself, my
shame.
own sexuality that way. I can't interact with myself on a sexual level. And so the lights off may actually blind me to my own sexuality.
Whew, guys, you know what? I'm going to pause you there. Clearly, we need another segment because it's blowing my mind right now. Not that you know so much about 1,000 nerves and stuff, but yeah. But I really loved how you guys just broke this down in such a way that it helps people. And I hope that it helped you, as our viewers across the world to understand yourself better. Like I said initially, it's more about, and how Lynette put it as well, learn who you are sexually, understand yourself. And I'm going to bring in Rick with the sexual intelligence. That is stuck in my mind. You need to have sexual intelligence, and for you to have that, you need to learn about your own body. And today we discovered that. I really, really hope it has supplied you with the knowledge you need. We will do our best to have these amazing guests back here again, because clearly this is a subject that is deep, guys. Again, thank you so much for watching. Keep it up. We love you. We've reached huge milestones on OBE, which is Olive Branch Entertainment, as well as RedemptionX, all thanks to you. I appreciate the support. We appreciate the support. And keep watching us. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Find us on YouTube, guys. Find us on different platforms as well. Have a great one.